Take it easy, Sanderson. Just my hay fever. You saw that raccoon. Listen to the birds. There's life all around us.
This soldier is so jittery the slightest cough upsets him. His nervousness is understandable, though, because his unit has sustained casualties from chemical and biological operations. And the fact remains that a soldier's best protection is prompt masking without an alarm or command. Failure to mask quickly at the first indication of a toxic chemical or biological attack could be very serious.
How's this look for a break?
Yeah, looks good to me. Got plenty of water, good cover.
To protect yourself against chemical or biological operations and nuclear attack, you must know and use all of the protective measures available to you.
Okay, men, let's take a break, but spread out and keep alert.
For the purpose of demonstrating how a man must protect himself against these types of operations, members of a typical rifle squad will be used. Even though the actions which you will see in this film are authentic, it is not likely that all of them could happen to any one squad in such a short span of time. We have compressed time in order to show procedures which you must follow to ensure your survival. What is important is protection rather than tactics.
Hey, Sarge, you gonna make it out of here?
I think so. It'll be rough, but we'll make it.
Men can survive the explosion of tactical nuclear weapons within a mile of the center of burst, protected only by the ground. Some of the effects of these weapons include blast, heat, and nuclear radiation. The flash of the nuclear burst travels at the speed of light. The nuclear burst gives off both initial nuclear radiation and thermal effects. Although initial nuclear radiation lasts only for a few seconds, its effects can kill. Thermal radiation consists of the heat and light given off during the explosion. Since the fireball reaches temperatures hotter than those of the surface of the sun, the heat emitted can produce burns on the exposed skin a great distance away. The blast or shock wave follows after the flash at the speed of sound. The blast wave can collapse buildings, knock over trees, and hurl men and objects through the air. Finally, radioactive material within the nuclear burst cloud may drift back to Earth in the form of fallout, contaminating large areas. Prevailing weather conditions will govern the area coverage and time of arrival. To survive a nuclear detonation, you must protect yourself from the hazards that result from the explosion. Let's see what the men in this squad did. The first two men dove into a deep ditch. The earth protected them from the initial radiation and shielded them from the thermal effects. The ditch offered some protection against the blast. Flattening on the ground where you are can give sufficient protection if the explosion is some distance away. Close your eyes and wait for the blast. Any cover, such as a log or the side of a small hill away from the explosion, can give protection from radiation, thermal effects, and blast. Cover as much of the exposed skin area as possible to prevent serious burns. This man was caught in the open by the thermal and initial nuclear radiation, and finally, the blast wave. Whatever you do, don't try to get to your foxhole or shelter if it is more than a few steps away.
Mixer 3, this is Mixer 2-3, over. Mixer 3, this is Mixer 2-3, over. Nothing yet, Sarge.
Well, keep trying.
Radio communication is frequently impossible soon after a nuclear burst. There is no time for anything when a man is caught in the open by the thermal or a blast wave.
Hunter, check the radiation level.
To monitor the radiation level, the squad uses a radiac meter.
3-0, Sergeant.
It's 0 now, but there's fallout to consider. The sergeant checks his latest fallout information received from headquarters some time ago. The message provides the wind direction. With this information, the sergeant determines that the squad may receive fallout within a short time.
Dig in, men! Hunter, continue your monitoring. Let me know the minute you get a reading. Mason, make another attempt to contact headquarters.
Mixer 3, this is Mixer 2-3, over.
Mixer 2-3, this is Mixer 3, over.
I'll take it. Start digging on that crest over there. This is Mixer 2-3, message follows. Time, 1215 hours. Observed nuclear burst at approximately 1200 hours at November Bravo 230876. Present dose rate is 0 rad per hour. Should we expect fallout? Element is digging in and we are constantly monitoring dose rate. Awaiting further orders, over.
This is Mixer 3, roger. Remain in position. Expect fallout. Continue to provide dose rate readings per SOP. Over.
This is Mixer 2-3, Wilco out.
Radio communications will usually be clear soon after the burst, even though this unit is not designated as one to submit an NBC-1 report. It is important to give your unit commander an accurate report of any burst seen.
Now keep digging, men. We'll be here for a while and we expect fallout. So dig those holes plenty deep.
A deep foxhole or other underground shelter will give good protection from fallout. The deeper, the better. The men can work in the open as long as the radiation level is monitored regularly and continues at a safe level.
Fallout's coming, Sarge. Radiation level is 1 rad per hour.
Fallout's coming. Get those holes covered. Stay inside, but keep alert.
Sometimes the fallout can be seen as a fine dust. More often, it's invisible. When fallout begins, take shelter and cover the foxhole with a poncho or shelter hat. This cover will help to keep the fallout from entering the foxhole and contaminating you and your equipment. While the radiation level is high, men must be protected. At high radiation levels, the intensity can be measured safely from within the foxhole and corrected for the accurate level outside. The outside level is now 90 rad per hour. The pocket dosimeter is used to measure the total dose of radiation received by personnel.
Well, I'm getting out of here.
Get back in here
Well, how much longer do we have to stay?
until the sergeant tells us to move.
The radiation from the fallout of a tactical weapon will frequently decay to a much lower level within 3 to 4 hours. Constant monitoring of the area continues to be a necessity.
Rad level 15, Sergeant.
Before getting out of the foxhole, throw the poncho back. Then shovel away the contaminated layer of soil around the edge of the hole. The pocket dosimeter is again checked to determine the current total dose of radiation received.
Ponchos off, men! Clean away the sides and edges of your foxholes, but stay in them as much as you can.
The most important thing to do after a nuclear burst is to continue your mission. Although the outside radiation is not high, the men stay in the foxhole to reduce exposure.
See anything?
Nothing.
Keep your eyes open.
Canned food and covered water may be used safely after a nuclear attack. The can should be cleaned before opening.
Mixer 3, this is Mixer 2-3, over.
This is Mixer 3. Message follows. Time 1700. Intelligence report indicates a biological attack has occurred in our area. Take protective measures. Over.
This is Mixer 2-3, we'll go out.
Mask! Everybody mask! Prepare for a biological attack!
To avoid inhaling a biological aerosol, the first thing to do is mask.
Let's go! Get your mask on, get rid of that food and button up for a biological fast!
The possibility of these men getting sick or even dying from a biological attack can be reduced by good protective action, personal cleanliness, and good field sanitation. Clothing should be buttoned up and tucked in to keep the agent from entering through cuts, scratches, and other body openings. Cover your foxhole to protect against falling spray. The agent can also enter the body in contaminated food and water.
Hey, you know better than that. Bury that food.
Open food should be thrown away. It must not be eaten. The M17A1 Field Protective Mask drinking device allows a man to safely drink water from his canteen while wearing the mask. The mask must be kept on. You can work and sleep while wearing it. This man is dying to smoke a cigarette. He may do just that.
Anything to report? No, sir, Sergeant. Nothing. Fasten your hood.
Anything to report? Over.
This is Mixer 2-3, negative. Men are still masked because of biological attack. Over.
This is Mixer 3. Remain masked and move out according to plan. Over.
This is Mixer 2-3. We'll go out.
Before leaving a contaminated area, sufficient communication markers must be placed to warn others of the danger. Three signs have been adopted for marking contaminated areas. The background color of each marker indicates the type of contamination present: chemical, biological, or radiological. They should be placed on the perimeter of the contaminated area if it is known, to warn friendly troops of the danger. The direct rays of the sun will kill the majority of biological agents in a short time. Is it safe to unmask? The sergeant must weigh the facts. The men have been masked for 19 hours, and they are thirsty and hungry. The latest fallout information indicates that the wind direction has changed. In addition, there has been a half day of strong sunlight to reduce the biological hazard. The sergeant makes his decision.
Unmask! Let's have something to eat.
Was the cigarette this sentry smoked worth the effects he's feeling now? Before eating food from cans whose surface may have been exposed to biological contamination, it is necessary to heat the cans or boil them in water for a minimum of 15 minutes before opening. For drinking purposes, water from a closed canteen is as safe as water that has been boiled for at least 15 minutes. The area selected by the squad leader provides a good field of fire and offers protection against ambush. Now, more than 24 hours later, the effects of the biological attack are very evident in the sentry. When there's a spray attack, stop breathing, mask, give the alarm, and continue your mission.
Spray! Spray!
Keep your mask by your side. It must be ready for use at all times.
Spray! Spray!
Nerve agents act fast. You have to act faster. Atropine is used to counteract the effects of nerve agent. Advanced symptoms indicate excessive exposure to the agents. Therefore, 3 injections must be given immediately. Artificial respiration should be administered to improve or restore breathing. Put on your impregnated gloves to protect exposed skin areas. If any agent is on your skin, it must be immediately decontaminated. Take the skin decontaminating pad from the kit. Thoroughly blot the contaminated area. Turn the pad over and pat the powder on the same area. Rub the area lightly before discarding the pad. Use detector paper to assist you in determining the type of agent present. When a soldier does not mask in sufficient time, he can inhale so much nerve agent that even atropine and artificial respiration may not save his life. These agents act fast, even in small quantities. Examine your clothing for liquid contamination. Take the clothing decontaminating bag from the kit. Crush the dye capsule in the decontaminating bag and knead the bag to distribute the dye. Dust all areas on the uniform where contamination is suspected. If contamination is present, colored spots of red or red to brown will appear. If the contaminated cloth cannot be neutralized, it must be cut away. This is accomplished by using the clothing cutter provided in the kit. Carefully remove all contaminated material. This includes the liner, if it is grossly contaminated. Redust the area.
Hey, shouldn't I take atropine?
Some of the agent got through. Trembling and profuse sweating are early signs. It is important to recognize the early symptoms of nerve agents and to take immediate action to counteract the effects. Remove the yellow safety cap from the automatic injector and press the green end firmly against the muscle of your thigh. "10 minutes ago, a second injection was administered. Now, symptoms continuing, this man requires a third injection. If breathing becomes extremely difficult, start artificial respiration. Use either the mask method or some other accepted technique. If the lungs don't inflate, his tongue could be blocking the air. Adjust the head to free the air passage and continue the resuscitation. This soldier will live. When normal breathing is again resumed, quickly remove the resuscitation mouthpiece and put on his own protective mask.
Let's go, we're moving out.
Later, the squad is ready to rejoin its unit. What's happening here? Recognize this fellow? He's the sentry who sneaked a smoke. Biological agents may work slowly, but they produce casualties just the same. The patrol has accomplished its mission.
Any casualties, Sergeant?
Let's look at what you need to do to come back with the rest of your squad. At the flash of a nuclear explosion, take cover immediately. Then dig in and cover up to protect yourself from fallout. In case of a biological attack, mask. Button up and cover exposed skin areas. Remember, don't remove your mask until ordered to do it. When there's a spray attack, stop breathing, mask, sound the alarm, and continue your mission. Any agent on your skin or clothing must immediately be decontaminated. Atropine can be used to counteract the effects of nerve agents. If breathing falters, start artificial resuscitation. Your survival in nuclear warfare and biological and chemical operations depends largely on training. Either a man uses his knowledge and protective equipment, or he becomes a casualty.